Hi everyone, welcome to Live with Janome. I'm Ann Hine, Embroidery Software Specialist for Janome America, and today is one of our Skill Builder series, and we'll be talking about concealed zippers, being invincible with an invisible zipper. So how do the Skill Builders work? Well, after watching today's video, you want to take a picture of yourself doing this task and then post it in the comments below. Plus, there's a place you go to, they'll list the link in the comments where you go to sign up for that. You have a week to do it, so from now until next week to get that done. And then they're pulling a name out of each of our weeks, and then we'll have a drawing at the very end. So you could win some really great prizes. So get your invisible zippers out here, get your concealed zipper feet out, and get ready to do this. So what is a concealed zipper? Well, it's one of those zippers that goes into the seam, like all zippers go into a seam, I guess, but this one really hides in there. So I have a pair of shorts here. They have a side zip on them right here. So you can see the tab of that zipper, but you can't really see the zipper. Now, if I pull it like this, you can. Now, if I had a gray zipper, it would hardly show, but this really doesn't show when you're wearing these, and just the little tab does. And you unzip it, and you can see the inside just like that. The inside, and I'm going to show you on the other camera, the teeth are curled over. There's a little bit of a coil. So that's what brings your fabric over and makes it look like it's seamless, like there's nothing going on there except this little thing at the top. Now you can put this in garments, you can put it in your craft projects, such as pillows. A lot of times we want to put a zipper in the bottom or the back of our pillow, and a great place is along the bottom of the pillow. So here's a pillow, let me do it this way first, that I made, pillow top. And this was part of my Zip Parade series, so we did a lot of things with zippers. So regular zippers were going in here, so you can see how a regular zipper goes in, right? And then at the bottom, here is my invisible zip, or concealed. It's really a concealed zipper, but we seem to call it a invisible zipper. So you can see it, you can hardly see it in there. And then once this is sitting on your couch, you won't notice it. So when I open it up, you can see there's the zipper in there. And it naturally wants to roll over to the bottom of our pillow. So you can put it in pillows that are just regular seams, like this one is. You can also put it in pillows like the one we've been working on that has the welting in it. And so the one in the bottom of the pillow is very similar to a garment. And then the one that's in this with the welting is very similar. So just a few tips to do on that. So I'm going to show you how to do both, and we'll be working over there at the machine. I am on the CM17, but you can use the same feet for your machine too and do the same things in your machine. All right, so I'm going to go over to the camera. I want to talk about some of the feet we're going to use and show you the zippers so you have an idea of what the difference is between a invisible concealed zipper or a regular zipper. So let's put these right here. And this cream colored one, this is a regular zipper. I'm going to pull it up so you can see the top. Here's the top of it right there. And it has lots of tape here. This one is a concealed zipper. Now I'm looking at the back side of it. I can see the coil, and the tape is a lot thinner, only because my teeth are coiled. So then when you place it this way, when it's closed, you can see how it comes right together. So the fabric is right up there. So that's where your fabric is going to be, right up on there. And on the other side, let's see if we can see those coils. I don't know if we can, let me see if I can get my camera to zoom in a little bit. Well, it doesn't want to zoom, but it wants to move everywhere else. Let's see here. All right, well, we're not zooming yet today. So, all right, so here we go. So right here, I can pull those out and you can see that. And at one time, you know, when you'll see directions, it'll tell you to uncoil this to put it in, to press it open. But because we have some nice feet nowadays, you don't really need to do that. And I'll show you why. Janome has this is your concealed zipper foot. It's zipper foot Z. And what happens is when you go to attach it, you're going to put the coil in one side of the channel or the other, and this little front piece will help lift that coil up, and you'll get your stitches right below. So it's going to go right in there and get stitched down. This kind of picks up your coil. You don't want to put it on this side because, well, it will go in there, but it's not opening. This little thing keeps it from really opening, so it doesn't open enough. So you really want to be, you're on the left side when you're sewing on the right side of your zipper, and you're on the right side when you're sewing the left teeth of your zipper. All right. The other thing is there are these zipper feet here. So this is a standard zipper foot. You can use this one. I showed that last week, I believe. And then we have the one that snaps on and goes on either side of your ankle. And we have the adjustable one that goes on the ankle. And then this one has the screw on the back, so you can put it on your ankle here and then adjust where you want the zipper itself and tighten the screw. So that's how that one works. We're going to just set these off to the side here while we're working. All right, so those are our zippers. And the first thing I'm going to show you is putting a zipper in, let's say in a garment right here. So here is, we can pretend this is the back of a garment. I already put the zipper in, and then I added the facing, and then I would just do a tiny little bit of hand stitching there, but I'm going to open this up so you can see. There we go. And you can't see, really see the zipper teeth even when I zip it up. It's in there. Now I would definitely use, see how that is? I can pull it apart and I'll see a tiny little bit, but you're not really going to see that. So very seamless with your zipper on there. And there's various ways to attach that zipper that you can work with. And I'm going to show you one of the ways that I do it. I might put the light back on my machine. So let's back out a little bit here. There we go. All right, so I have a little sample under here. Let me get my parts. So one of the things you want to do is you need to know the difference between the front of your zipper. That's where the cloth comes together. You don't see the teeth. And then the back of your zipper is where you're going to see your teeth. And I typically will put a little line at the top of my zipper on both sides, about a 1/4 inch in, so that I have something to line up with. And the reason for that, and I'm looking for my nice pencil, let's see if it's in here. I usually use different types of marking pencils and things like that. Let's see what will show up on this today. I moved all the pencils around, and the one I need, the one I need is over here. Okay, here we go. See if this will work. This is just a little pencil. But depending on what I'm doing, I will use something that can be washed out after. This is a regular pencil, and I'm just going to put about a 1/4 inch away, and that's where I'm going to align this at the top of my piece. So I know when I come back around, I'll have this for alignment. I don't have to guess about it, and you'll see how that works in just a moment. So here's my back of my dress, or whatever I'm working with. And you're going to put the right side of your zipper down onto the right side of your fabric. And I typically will do an over edge stitch either with my serger or with the M foot, this foot here. You can use this one. This is an over edge foot. It's great. There's an over edge stitch as well, and it makes this serged look to your piece. It really finishes off that edge. It makes things hold together a lot better. And you can also adjust your seam allowance, and you can measure this little piece and this and figure out if you're going to go with 5/8 how much you have to take off to get that right on there. I like to be able to align things along this piece here. So I probably would have to cut off, before I started, I would cut off maybe 1/8 of an inch there. And you're going to open up your zipper. Now I have a really long zipper. I like a longer zipper because the part that hangs down in the bottom, will be out of the way when you're doing your stitching, so you won't have to worry about this part of it there. And then I'm going to take it. This is the right side of my zipper, and here's the right side of my zipper, but I want the teeth to face over this way. If I put them this way, they're going to go right into the seam allowance. Do you see that? So even though I have it laid down this way, I'm going to lay the right side on the right side of my fabric, and I'm going to align that very top piece right there along the top edge, and I'll put a little pin there. Now I don't typically pin the whole piece. I'll put a pin at the top, and more times than not, let me pull this back up, I will put a mark down here on my zipper where I want my zipper to end. So I want it to end right here. Now there are times when you will sew your back seam, baste it, and you'll sew the bottom part of the seam and put your zipper in above that. I like to do it flat like this. For me, it's easier. You can also use some seam, like some one-to-under tape if you like that. Anything that's sewable that will come out in the wash. You don't want to put in something that you can't sew through. It's going to gum up your needle. So I'll put this down on my piece, and I'll put a pin right at the bottom here beyond my line so I know where I'm going to stop. So I have 2 pins in there like that. I'm going to put my concealed zipper foot on, and I'm going to adjust my needle in just a moment too. There we go. All right, so let's get that foot up. So I need to be in center needle position, so I'm going to select center needle. I'm going to put my thread back over there, lock my machine, and touch my threader. This thread seems to have a life of its own, and it keeps on threading on me today, so even when I put it up in there. So we'll try. It's got a lot of life to it today. All right, so here we go. What you want to do is you're going to start down just a little bit, and since I'm sewing on this side of my zipper, right of the teeth, I want to put them in the channel on the left side. So I'm going to start probably right here. I typically will put my foot down, and then if I need to adjust, I will. And it looks pretty good. I can bring my needle down. I can take this pin out, and I'm just going to keep this edge along that edge there evenly as I go down. And you can adjust your pin, put it down this way if you want to put a little pin in there. I don't typically use a lot of pins, they just get in my way. So as we go, this is going to be lifting, that little post is going to be lifting up, and my teeth, the teeth are going to move, and the needle's going to fit right along there. So here we go. So you can see how that's moving to the side. I have this long thread here, so let me chop that. That's my starting thread. Okay, there we go. And we're going to continue. I'll sew up to my pin, take it out, keep on going. And I'm going to sew right to my line and stop. Now in my dress I would do a little bit of a back stitch, but this is my sample piece and I take it apart and use it again later, so I'm not going to back stitch, but you would want to back stitch down at this point. Alright, so there it's in, and I can turn it and look at it. Look at that, that looks good. I'm going to zip it up just to see how we're doing. Oh yeah, that looks good. So I have the first side in, I'm happy with that. And now I need to do this side. So while it's zipped up, I know I need to flip it over, and this is how you don't mix up which way it goes. So now I know I've got it going in the right direction. This is the right side of my zipper on the right side of my fabric. I can put my finger on it just a little bit here and open it up like that. And then I'm going to align that little mark at the top. Here we go. So that mark goes right up there at the top. And I'm going to put a pin in there. just to hold it. And I'm going to come down here, and I have a mark. Let's see, I didn't mark the far side. Okay, only one side. So I'll bring my mark over. There we go. So now I have a mark to where the end is, and I'll put a pin just beyond that, lining it up again with my seam allowance. So as I said in the beginning, I adjust my seam allowance to my zipper before I get started. There's typically 5/8 in there. Some of your patterns are not 5/8, so you just have to figure out. Some of them are going for 1/2 inch right now, if some of them are European or some of our other makers. So now I'm going to be sewing to the left of my teeth, so I need to be on the right side. So I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to lower my foot down right there, and I like to wiggle that up. Let me go a little bit further in. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Back up here. And let's move down a little bit. There we go. Oops. Wrong side. Hang on. This side. There we go. Now it's in there. And I just, there it is. A little tug, so I know it went up into the channel. And I'm ready to go. I'm going to take my pin out, and I'm going to stitch on down. Here we go. Get that pin out of the way. You can put it in the middle again like I did on that other one, just to hold it there. And off we go. And it's going to lift those teeth up out of the way for me, so I can stitch right underneath the curl. Move this back. And you can see on this side, it's hard to see my thread, but my thread is right there under the curl. Right under there. So it's like catching the wave. There we go. And I'm going to stitch down to the line and stop there. Now, as I said before, I would do a little back stitch there if I was doing a real garment there. Okay, so I'm going to take that out, put this thread up here, like this, hold it, and flip this over, and we'll open it up, and you can see that one. There we go. Now, I'm way off on this. This one's perfect. This one I'm way off on. See how far I'm away? So I would go back through, and I would try that side again. So that was this side, which is my good side. Yeah. So it happens, you know, you're talking and sewing. So you can go back through, and I can see here that I can see my stitching more out here than underneath there. That is the side, right? That's, yeah, see how far away that is? So you could go back under here, get your piece under there, make sure you're in there. There we go. And try a little bit more. I'm going to give it a little bit of a pull this way. There we go. So it'll pick it up and stitch under there. So if you have to make an adjustment, you can. I'm going to stop there and see how we did. There we go. And I can see when I go like this, oh, it's better. Okay, so then I would just zip that up, and all would be good. The important part is to remember which way you are doing your zipper. Make sure you're laying it right sides down. Do that little mark up here so they come out even. And then once you get that seam done, you can go ahead and you can do a little bar tack right here, and then cut off I usually do like 2 bar tacks, and I cut off my extra, and then you'll fold it up and do your seam from here down to the end. And then you add your facing on, just like I did over here. This one has the facing on. This part bends down just slightly like that. You can tack it in place, and off you go. All right, so let's look at doing it with a welting. Now this is more of a challenge, and here's the pillow the sample I was working on the other day, and I did put in a little opening here with my my concealed zipper. So this was my opening when I finally close my pillow, and I flip it up. You're only going to see, look what you're going to see, nothing, and that. So it makes a nice, clean closure on there. So the important thing, I'm going to show you on the big pillow how putting that in, but I want to show you on this little pillow after you get both parts in, how you finish the corner. I did one corner already, and then on this corner, I'm going to show you how to finish this corner. So you want to put your front and back together, pushing your welting in, and I do use a couple pins or clips here just to hold it in the corner there for me, so I keep everything in place. There we go. And then I want to open up my zipper, so I'm going to reach in here and open my zipper. And this part can be out there because I can stitch over the end of it. I'm going to take off this foot, put on my F foot right here. Let's see if I can do the snap thing because it doesn't always get in the right place. Ooh, I'm getting better at that. All right, and I want to go back to left needle position, and then I'll bring it all the way to the left. There we go. And you want to bring this way so you have your things together. And you're just going to follow along. This is I have a seam line there already. I just want to make sure that I'm pushing my welting over. And I'm going to start right about here. I think that's my start part. I'm going to put my foot down, and I'm going to bring my needle down. I'm trying to see my stitches. I'm probably a little off. It's hard to look over the camera. Oh, there we are. I'm in the right spot. There we go. All right, and I'm going to sew over a little bit of this zipper at the beginning just to hold it in there and come up around the corner. Just nice and slow. You can set your machine at to do auto lift, which I don't have set at this moment. We'll put that back on. And so you can make your little turns around the corner and put the foot down. Make sure, I'm going to put that back up. Make sure sometimes in the corner, this is why pins get in your way, you want to make sure that welting is out of the way when you come around that corner. Here we go. And stop and turn. Put your foot up. Oh wait. And then come around a little bit. Make sure that welting's out of the way. Take your pin out. And then continue around, and I'll show you what this looks like when we get to here. There we go. We're not going to go all the way around today, so we can get our video in. So you're going to turn it back out. And there we go. I have my two corners, and I have my little zipper opening right there. So that's with welting. Now if you didn't have welting, you'd put it in just like we did with the garment, be just the same. And I do mark it. You'll notice on here there's some markings, and I'm going to show you on the next one where I put the markings. Now I use a zipper foot to put on the concealed zipper on my pillow because of the welting in there. But when I have a regular pillow without welting, I can use the concealed zipper foot. So this is the back piece, and I went ahead and I marked my zipper like that, and I laid it on here, and I put corresponding marks on my piece here. And I actually used, this is the back side here, I actually used a marker so it went through. Now I wouldn't normally do it that way. I would use maybe a friction pen or a wash off blue chalk marker or something like that. And then on your pillow, because you're going to apply it to this part first, you need to put your markings there. Now on your pillow, what you want to do is when you've put your welting on, this is the bottom right corner, so I know that's where my join was. So this is where I want to put my zipper, down here. And then what I did is I laid my zipper across here. It's longer than I need, which is fine. That's what I like. And then I made the corresponding marks here and here, so that's all ready to go. Now I'm going to just flip my zipper over. I'm going to open it up because I want to put the right side of my zipper on there. But I don't want to put this one because, again, if I did that, my zipper would be on the inside. So I'm going to slide my zipper up like that, put that over there. This is going to go in here, in this spot right there, and then the other one's going to be down there. Now I go ahead, and when I do this, I do want to put a pin right here. Let me get this turned around. And this is hard to show. There we go. Get this up. So your teeth you really want to get your teeth really close to your welting as you can, because you're going to stitch them and they're going to lift up a little bit. So you need to want them to get really close. So you're going to have your foot pick those up. So to get that started like that, see how I opened it up right there? Now I know in some directions it says to press your concealed zippers, and you could do that too, but I just find this just as easy to get it started this way. There we go. I've got it open, and then I'm going to bring it all the way down to the bottom. And even if you're off a little when you do this, it's a little bit forgiving with the welting because it sort of bends itself over anyways, so it's not as crucial as like the back of a dress or a seam. I mean, you really want to get it in there seamlessly. Now I did a dress for Janome recently. It's in some of the, I think we've had it out in some of the pictures. It's a gray dress with embroidery down the front of it, on a curve. And the best part of that, not the embroidery is beautiful, but I love my zipper on the back. It came out perfect. I was like, we should turn the dress around and just show the zipper. All right, make sure that's lined up. Yep. And put it there and just keep this end open too. There we go. All right. And I'm going to change back to my zipper foot, the concealed zipper foot. Remember the little hole goes to the front, and I'm going to snap that down there. There we go. Up. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. No, we're not putting that on. I talked about it, and then I'm staying in the regular zipper foot. There we go. There we are. Put this back. Practice snapping on. There we go. Here we are. All right. Oh, goodness. All right. In this case, I'm going to lift up and snap it down. I don't always get it. Some people are really good at just first time snapping and they get it. So I want to start sewing right here, and you can do a little reverse stitch if you want. Some of our machines have a built-in reverse, so I could pick that stitch. It's going to go in the middle, but I'm going to move it back over to the left. So what's going to happen with this, it's going to go forward just a little bit and then backwards all on its own. And when I get to the other end, I can push the reverse once and it'll do all its back and forth. All right, so I just want to make sure I have this part up. There we go. My zipper foot here is going to push on that. That's perfect. I'm all the way to the left on this foot, on this stitch, and I'm going to go slowly down here, keeping those teeth right up in there. Okay, here we go. There's the back stitch. I don't know if I came unthreaded when this happened, or if I just have this long tail. This thread is very light, so it tends to pop right out of my, it doesn't take much for it to pop out of my, here, I'll just trim it off. It's bouncing around in there, driving me crazy. Let's see what's going on. All right, here we go. All right, let's see what happened here. Oh, you know, yeah, that's what happened. It did come unthreaded. All right, we'll rethread it. Yeah, this is that really thin thread. There we go. All right, now we'll put a big tail, and we'll restart. So let me get my stitch started again. There we go. Okay. And I'm going to use my thumb wheel to bring this down because I don't want to be on my teeth, and I do want to be at the start. I think this starts right there. It is. That's the start. Okay. I can see it. Just a touch. Bring my thumb wheel. There it is. We're all in position now. I have a couple little tails from leftover, so I'm going to take those out of my way. And just my long tail is back here now. All right, let's see if this works. My bobbin looks okay. Always check that bobbin because that's the next thing that's going to go a little wonky on you. There we go. Reverse, and now it's going to go. Now I am not pushing my fabric under there. I am letting those feed dogs do their thing. And that's what you want. You just want your feed dogs to do the work. You just want to guide it. You're just guiding this along. And see, my needle is just brushing by those teeth. The front of the foot is lifting it a little bit. It'll be close enough. Let me stop here because I have my pin is bent under. There we go. And I'm just going to sew to that line and stop. And I'll hit my reverse. It'll reverse on its own and back. I'm sewing with the start stop button. You can still do this with your foot control. You just have to remember to hold the gas pedal on it when you do that. All right, so there's the first part. You can see I have it in there close to the welting, and I can zip it up if I wanted to, which I will, like this. And it's always good to do a test for that because sometimes you've put it too close and you can't close it. So there, I have it, I can close it. And now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to open it again. I'm going to put on the backing. And again, what I do is I'll lay my backing down first. I have to move a few things out of the way. And then, so I'm going to lay my backing down right side up with the markings over here under my foot. And this needle again comes unthreaded. I like this thread, but it keeps, okay, so here's the markings right here on this side. And I'm going to take my top of my pillow and I'm going to lay it down on right sides together here so I know it goes together. And then I can see with my zipper, so my zippers, if I have it closed a little bit, I can see that here, this edge is the edge that goes along there. And my markings, I can see my marking too. So that's important. So I'm going to move that back. And I'm going to bring my zipper over here. And I'm just going to put the mark from the zipper right to the mark there. And again, I just line it up right with the edge here because I've left enough seam allowance when I cut my backing, so I know that's going to work. And I'll put my pin in here. Now this one, I can go back to my concealed zipper foot because I'm just sewing fabric, which I will do. And then flip this all the way up. Put this marking where it belongs up here. Again, you can put your pin in here to hold it while you get everything situated. All right, so now let's change our foot. We're going to go to center needle position, and I can put on the Z foot. This does come in 9mm and 7mm. There we go. All right, so now I want to sew to the left of my teeth, so I'm going to put it on the right side. So here we go. So I'm going to slide it up here, and it's going to go right about there. I can see the little lines under there. And once I get it there, I can wiggle this around. Now I didn't put it under there. I have it under the wrong side. A lot of times you get ready to go and you're like, oh, it is on the wrong side. So just remember to double check. It's easy to, to absent-mindedly put it on the wrong side. There we go. I need to get it to snap up in there. There it is. Okay, I think I'm ready to go. I'm going to use my thumb wheel to bring my piece down so I can tell it's next to the teeth. There we go. And we're off. Now again, I could do a little reverse at the beginning of this. And I'm going to clip this thread because it's going to be in the way as I get going. There we are. Okay, so let's align everything. a little bit off. Sure, here we go. There we go. Got a little piece stuck there. One of these little frets. There we go. So I'm just going to sew all the way down to my next line, and then my zipper will be in. All I'll have to do is start at my corners, go around my corners, go all the way around my pillow, back to the other corner, and then I'm done. So once you get really comfortable with it, when I'm just doing this without a camera in front of me, it's much easier, and I get my zippers in no time, and I'm off to finishing my pillow. And I do like to put a zipper in because then when I put my pillow form in, if I need the pillow form for something else, I can definitely grab it out of there. And I'm going to zip this up and show you this. Let me just get it going here. Oops. There we go. And I'll back that up. All right, so here it is. Look at that. When I fold that back, look how nice that's going to be. Let me hold it this way. Look at that. I got that zipper in there. Really nice. And, you know, it's not going to be stressed like this. You can see it. But it'll be like that when you fill your pillow. So it'll be a beautiful finish. All you'll see is the little tail right there. Okay? All right. I'm going to go back to the other camera. Do a few little odds and ends here, and then we are ready to go. And we're pretty good, a little over 30 minutes. All right, everyone. So now you know what to do with those invisible zippers and how they work. Just remember, use your concealed zipper foot when it goes in a seam. If you have welting, of course, you can take on that challenge and use your zipper foot as well. But our concealed zipper foot really makes it a lot easier to do. You just have to remember which side you're putting it on and where your teeth are at that point, your needle, where your needle's going to run. So give it a try. As our skill builder this week, make sure you take a picture of what you've worked on, put it in the comments below, and go to the link they posted down there so that you can sign up for the drawing. All right, everyone, have a great day, and thanks for joining me today on Live with our skill builder. We'll see you again.